Hi, my name is Carol Anne Connolly. I'm a visual artist, and today we are going to look at creative ways we can address the topic of ecological corridors in our areas. So an ecological corridor is a piece of habitat that connects two larger patches of habitat and facilitates the movement of animals and the dispersal of plants and other organisms. Today you will be thinking about the spaces you live in, whether rural or urban, at school or at home, and decide what kind of changes could be made or ideas introduced to promote biodiversity and support our local ecosystem by creating habitats like ecological corridors. To help you in this process, I will share some tools to help you look closely at these places in order to generate ideas and create designs that could help your local ecosystem to improve and thrive. This workshop focuses on observational techniques as a creative tool. Observation techniques help you look more closely at the spaces around you in order to make more informed creative decisions. So the first thing we are going to do today is create a tool called a Viewfinder. It's a tool that helps you slow down and look closely, noticing details of things that we may overlook. So for this activity, you're going to need an A5 or A4 piece of card, any colour, a pencil, a ruler, a cutting knife and a cutting pad. To make a viewfinder, take your piece of card and in the centre of a card, draw a rectangle about 4 centimetres high and 6 centimetres wide. With a scissors or a cutting knife, cut out the shapes where you were left with a rectangle shaped space that you can see through. We're going to use this viewfinder today to help you create observational drawings. Hold the viewfinder up to your eye line and about a foot or two away from you, take a minute to look around through the viewfinder and see if it helps you look closer. If you are indoors, go near the window to look outside, and if you are outdoors, you can move around your space more, looking in the distance at what is around you and what is closer to you in more detail. So spend about 2 minutes doing this exercise. When you've finished, take notes of this activity in an online sketchbook. Answer these questions. Did the viewfinder help you look closer? Did you notice anything that you may not have noticed? What did you notice about it? And take a few minutes to make these notes of these reflections. So you've used the viewfinder to look closer at the details around you. Now we're going to create 4 different observational drawings of your area based on what you've noticed. This activity is a record of your observations. Its aim is to create a drawing, but the focus is not on creating a replica of what you're observing. It's very important in this exercise to not look too much at the paper as you draw, because in this exercise you are shifting the focus away from the results and towards the process of looking. For each drawing, take about 1 minute and take an additional 30 seconds before each drawing to observe the focus of the drawing. Again, you can use the viewfinder during these 30 seconds of observing if you think that helps you notice more details. So for this exercise, you're going to need a sketchbook, a 2B pencil, your Viewfinder if you feel you'd like to use that, but also you can use markers or charcoal, anything that you'd prefer to use. To begin, look around and find a view that contains both built and natural elements. For this drawing, find areas of negative space. In art, positive space refers to the subject or areas of interest in an artwork, such as a person's face or figure in a portrait, or the trees in a landscape painting. Negative space is the empty space around and between the subjects of an image. So make sure you have your sketchbook and position your sketchbook in landscape orientation, not portrait, with your pencil at the ready. Draw a rectangle frame similar to your Viewfinder, but this time it will be a frame nearly as big as the page. After 30 seconds, look at what you have chosen to focus your attention on and exploring as many details as possible. Pick up your pencil and begin in the rectangle you drew, observing the negative space in your view. You can use the side of your pencil to draw in the positive space in your drawing, leaving the negative space blank, or the other way around. It's your choice. When you've finished the first, on a new page, draw a second rectangle. Make a drawing of the elements of the built environment: buildings, walls, structures, street furniture, anything that you see in your view. On a new page, draw a third rectangle, making a drawing of the elements of the natural environment: trees, gardens, green spaces that you can see in your view. And finally, on a new page, draw another rectangle. This time, write the names of things that you see in the image. You do not have to write sentences, just the names of the things you see. You can play around with this, writing larger objects in bigger text, for instance, or write the name of the object where it is placed within your rectangle. Or you could write what man-made things you see in your view and what natural elements there are. You could use one style of writing to depict the man-made elements and another style of writing to depict the natural. Think what kind of styles you would use to best portray both of these elements. When you are finished, take a few moments to look down at your drawings. Do your drawings reflect your looking? In what ways does your drawing reflect the view that you chose to observe? In which ways is it different? And was there an equal mix of built and the natural elements? You can share your drawings so that others can see. This gives you a chance to see how your eyes are drawn to different areas, and ultimately how there are different ways of looking at relatively the same thing. So the third activity is going to be a photographic exercise. For this exercise, you're going to need a camera or your phone camera. In the same way you've worked on to create your drawings, we are going to look a little closer again at the area around you, this time using a camera. You will use your camera to investigate the area around you in greater detail, getting as near to objects as you can, or angling the camera in different ways to capture the area around you in a new light. The focus here is to create images that are more abstract in nature, to tell a story of your site through the closer detail of what is contained in this place. Don't be afraid to get up close. The instructions for this exercise are as follows, and remember to be as inventive and creative as you want to be. Using your camera, take a series of photos that respond to the following words: color, texture, line, corners, reflection, perspective, pattern, movement, shape, natural, man-made. Take some time after this activity to reflect on the photos that you have created. How did this close-looking activity influence your thoughts on your place of interest? Is there a common thread between the images? In the last few activities, you've gotten to look at your area quite closely. Can you bring elements of your drawings and photography together to create a design that could promote an ecological corridor? Here is an example of bringing your drawings and photographs together to create a design collage. This drawing was taken from a photograph of an urban landscape and drawn out on the page, similar to what you've done. These photographs were taken during a close-looking exercise and implemented into this drawing to create examples of ecological corridors, like hedgerows that span, that can connect from habitat to habitat. I hope you enjoyed your time exploring observation techniques, and I hope it's given you some ideas about how you can be creative when thinking about designing ecological corridors and sustaining different wildlife in your area. And I'm looking forward to seeing the results.